Welcome to Authentic English Podcast, your weekly show where education meets recreation. Here's your host with 20 years plus of teaching experience, Marcia Pike.
Marcia Pike here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Authentic English Podcast episode. So, how have you been? Have you already tuned into episode 2 about my podcasting and video podcasting journey? Have you already subscribed to Apple Podcasts or Stitcher and YouTube? Have you already watched my videos? Have you already liked my videos? Have you already shared my videos with your family and friends? Have you? Has anyone ever bombarded you with so many requests before? Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but I just bombarded you with a bunch of questions using the present perfect. I asked you about episode 2 because I'm going to explore episode 2 in today's show. At first, episode 2 was about my podcasting and video podcasting journey, and I was going to then explore phrasal verbs. But while I planned the episode, I realized that the present perfect just came up naturally. So let's go over some examples from episode 2 about my podcasting and video podcasting journey. 1. I have gone through so many different emotions in this journey. 2. Since then, I have spent countless hours looking into all the technical part. 3. This has definitely been a wild ride. 4. My podcast has taken a lot of my time. 5. The episodes have required editing. Examples 4 and 5 were not in episode 2. I used them to illustrate the structure of the present perfect. Let's analyze these sentences. Let's take a look at the verbs in each sentence. Have gone, have spent, has been, has taken, and have required. What are the main verbs? Gone, spent, been, taken, and required. Through these examples, let's figure out the structure for the present perfect. The structure for the present perfect is subject plus the auxiliary verbs have for I, you, we, you, or they, or has for he, she, or it, plus adverb, never, ever, already, always, sometimes, just, only, recently, definitely, plus past participle. Let's take a look at the types of verbs. There are 2 types, regular verbs and irregular verbs. The prefix IR is a negative prefix. For example, responsible and irresponsible or not responsible. Therefore, irregular verbs are verbs that are not regular. Regular verbs are verbs which end in ed in the past tense and past participle. Let's look at 3 examples of regular verbs in the base form, simple past, and past participle to exemplify. Work, worked, worked. Live, lived, lived. Start, started, started. Irregular verbs, on the other hand, are verbs whose patterns are different in the past tense and past participle. Let's look at 3 examples of irregular verbs in the base form, simple past, and past participle. Go, went, gone, take, took, taken, spend, spent, spent. Let's analyze the adverb in the present perfect. Note that an adverb is not necessarily needed. Let's use the same sentence so that we can easily compare the structures, okay? For example, I have been there. In this sentence, there's no adverb. I have already been there. There's the adverb already for emphasis. I have never been there. Nobody has ever been there. In order to use the adverb ever, note that a negative subject is needed. Nobody, no one, nothing. Let's quickly look at the structure again. Note that there are 2 verbs, the auxiliary verb, have or has, and the main verb, past participle. When there are 2 verbs, the adverb is placed between the 2 verbs. This is also true for other structures. Let's take modal verbs for example. I can sing. Can is a modal verb and sing is the main verb. If you're going to use an adverb, the adverb will be placed between the modal auxiliary verb and the main verb. I can sing. I can never sing. I can never sing in public, but I can always sing in the shower. Let's take the Whitney Houston song for example. I will always love you. The sentence is I will love you. So will is the modal auxiliary verb and love is the main verb. So always is placed between the modal auxiliary verb and the main verb. Now that we've gone over the structure of the present perfect, let's dive into the explanation of when to use this verb tense. Let's have a timeline for you to better understand how the present perfect is used. Let's analyze the following examples. I can't leave because I've lost my car key. Let's focus on the verbs have lost. Have is the auxiliary verb and lost is the main verb in the past participle form. She's going to quit because she's found a better job. Let's focus on the verbs has found. Has is the auxiliary verb and found is the main verb in the past participle form. In the timeline, there's an I. The I looks into the past at the finished action and also at the present for the connection with the present. In the first example, I lost my key in the past and I cannot find it in the present. Consequently, I cannot leave right now. In the second example, she found a better job in the past and she has a better job in the present. Therefore, she's going to quit. In the present perfect, there's a connection with the present. The time is unspecified and the exact time an action happens is not important. Let's analyze the following sentence. I have eaten pasta last night. Is this sentence right? No, it isn't. As the time is unspecified in the present perfect, you cannot use last night as it is a specified time in the past. You could either say, I have eaten pasta or I ate pasta last night. Note that last night is a specified time in the past. Therefore, the simple past must be used. Let's go over some situations when the present perfect is used. The present perfect can be used in the following situations. Life experiences. I've already been to Korea once. She's never eaten Thai food. Accomplishments. Scientists have discovered a new planet. An uncompleted action you're expecting. Joe hasn't written the report yet. Changes over a period of time. Your son has grown so much since I last saw him. To announce news of recent events. There has been an outbreak of yellow fever in Brazil. I know how students love to have a list of when to use certain verb tenses. However, if you understand the connection with the present moment, you won't have to memorize all the situations. Let's analyze the following sentence. Kevin has broken his arm again. In the timeline, there's an I that is looking at the finished action in the past. Kevin broke his arm. And it is also looking to the present. His arm is now broken. The present perfect is therefore used. Still looking at the same situation, Kevin has broken his arm again. He slipped and tumbled down the stairs. Note that in he slipped and tumbled down the stairs, the I is looking to the past for details. Therefore, the simple past is used. Note that the verbs slipped and tumbled are both in the past tense. When announcing news, the present perfect is used. However, when giving details, the simple past is used. The next time you read the newspaper or watch the news in English, notice how the present perfect is used to announce news and the simple past is used to give details. It's an excellent way for you to learn how the language is used. Let's recap. The present perfect is commonly used to announce news of recent events, whereas the simple past is used to give more details. As there is an unspecified time in the present perfect, when you want to know the exact time something happened, you ask, when did it happen? Never, when has it happened? The structure is when plus simple past. For example, when did you go there? When did they schedule the meeting? Let's now dive into some time expressions to use with the present perfect. Already, before, lately, recently, so far, or words that mean at some or any time up to now. Once, twice, several times, since, and for. Note that the time expressions before, lately, so far, once, twice, several times, since, and for are used at the end of the sentence. For example, I have been there before, not I have before been there. The adverb recently can be used either between the auxiliary verb and the main verb, I have recently been there, or at the end of the sentence, I have been there recently. Let's look into some time expressions to use with a simple past. Yesterday, 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 years ago, last year, last month, last week, in 2012, in the 90s, in March, when I was a child, when I lived in Spain, at that time, at that moment, that day, and then. Let's compare two time expressions that commonly confuse English learners. Last year versus in the last or past year. As today is January 29th, 2018, last year refers to January 1st to December 31st, 2017. In the last or past year, however, refers to the last 365 days up to now, January 29th, 2017 to January 29th, 2018. Consequently, last is used with a simple past, whereas in the last or in the past are used with the present perfect. To wrap up the present perfect, let's compare two sets of sentences. 1A. Elton John has recorded several hits. 1B. Michael Jackson recorded several hits. Notice that in sentence 1A, Elton John has recorded several hits, the present perfect is used as there's a connection with the present. Elton John is a singer. In sentence 1B, however, Michael Jackson recorded several hits, the simple past is used as Michael Jackson has already passed away. Pass away is a phrasal verb which means to die. Therefore, there's no connection with the present. Let's analyze another pair of sentences. 2A. Tom and Kim have been friends for many years. 2B. Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie were friends for many years. In sentence 2A, Tom and Kim are still friends. Therefore, the present perfect is used as there's a connection with the present. In sentence 2B, Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie were friends for many years. The simple past is used as there's no connection with the present. They are no longer friends. In sentences 1A and 2A, the present perfect is used as there's a connection with the present. I know, the present perfect is very challenging for English learners. In my opinion, it's the hardest verb tense of all. If you want to go the extra mile, email me at marcia@authenticenglishpodcast.com to get a free transcript of today's episode and an exercise for you to practice the present perfect and the simple past. Please study the present perfect as next week's episode will be connected to today's show. On a final note, I want to give a shout out to Schultz Makita from Brazzaville, the Republic of Congo. Schultz is the fourth and last winner of the Skype Class giveaway launch gift. Congratulations, Schultz. Well, I hope you have an amazing week. Take care.
Great having you with us today. Keep on with Marcia on social media. Head over to AuthenticEnglishPodcast.com to practice what you've just learned. And subscribe, rate, and review. Take care.